Hey, greetings everybody, GleeCon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. So, on our last episode we kind of read a couple of these alternate universe, kind of sort of origin stories of the Iron Wolf and Blackhand. We've also recently covered up with some old lore for Warcraft Legends. So, in this episode, stay a while and listen as we read a chapter from the 5th volume of Legends, and this is one that's currently where we're at. So we have a couple things that we can kind of catch up on that are about where we're at in the lore. And there's one more kind of sort of catch-up thing, I believe, that we have to do. Alright, so this is written by Evelyn Fredrickson. It's called A Cleansing Fire. And if you look here, we've got what looks to be one of the knights, maybe of Lordaeron, maybe of Scarlet Crusade, something we're going to find out. And look what we have here. Prepare yourselves, the bells have tolled. Shelter your weak, your young, and your old. Each of you shall pay the final sum. Cry for mercy, the reckoning has come. So anybody that's played World of Warcraft knows that this event that's going to be upon us in about a week is being depicted here. This is the Headless Horseman. The guy that attacks the various little villages outside capitals. Although he rides at Hallow's End, none knew what horrors gave rise to the Headless Horseman. He speaks of righteousness, and yet it is rage that drives him. Empowered by demonic magic, he burns the innocent and guilty alike. No measures have served to stop him. The living can only try to escape the fires of his wrath. Getting his achievements are a little annoying too. And pray to the light for deliverance. A village in Lordaeron, year 20. So that's where this takes place, which we're about actually year 21-ish. In the days since Prince Arthas took the fleet to Northrend, the Silver Hand has been stretched thin fighting the spread of this terrible plague. We protected another village last week, although the Scourge attackers outnumbered us more than 5-1. It was a great victory for the light, and I rode to my new posting immediately afterward. Why is it, then, that I cannot seem to make headway in this new battlefield? When the prince ordered us to purge Stratholme, I never had a moment's doubt that it was a mistake. Such a deed would have defiled our sacred charge, protecting the people of Lordaeron. Lord Uther was right. There had to be another way. Still, for all my prayers, the people in this town are dying. Why do my efforts only slow this damnable plague instead of driving it out? Now our supplies grow short, for we cannot rely on grain from Anderhall. The sick and the healthy suffer alike. Their suffering must have some higher purpose, but I cannot see it. O light, guide my way. Help me understand.
Sir Thomas, fresh food has arrived. 3 wagons full, and a message for you.
Light be praised. This is Baron Rivendare's work. He was always shared his wealth with the people.
And you also know Baron Rivendare is one becomes forsaken and evil. Go on and join your parents in the food line, Philip. I can hear your stomach gnawing at your backbone.
What about you? Shall I bring you something?
No, a little hunger will clear my mind.
Are you sure? Last I saw, the feast was already underway. Smell that. Fresh bread.
Off with you, vile tempter. Please, Holy Light, forgive your servant's doubts. A faith untested is a blade untempered. May this trial strengthen the people of Lordaeron and make us worthier agents of your loving purpose. But Thomas's hopes were shattered that night. His prayers, twisted into a mockery he found hard to fathom. The trial would indeed transform the townspeople. Oh, it was plagued bread, because Baron Rivendare's evil, into mindless slaves of the Lich King's iron will. And he abstained, that's why he lived.
The entire town was lost?
Yes, my lord. That town alone has nearly 1,000 souls.
The light came to my aid, and I sent them to their final rest.
The Baron has much to answer for.
Let us be the judge of that. The scroll, if you
please. Yeah, oh, here it is. So we have Datherhan again. says the Scarlet Crusade. Mark my words, this will not be the only town affected. The evidence is incontrovertible, written in Rivendar's very hand. He has betrayed us. If that is so, our losses will be high, and every death means another soldier for the Scourge. The fault was mine, my lords. I should have taken precaution. You could not have known, and be comforted, for this is not the end. High Lord Alexandros Mograine has departed for Ironforge, where he will gain a powerful new weapon against the Scourge. So this is before the Ashbringer series. Provided that dwarves and craftsmen can be trusted. In the meantime, however, we must decide on a course of action. So yeah, this is before the Scarlet Crusade as well, because here we have some of the xenophobic people that do form it. Agreed, Thomas. You've done well. Dismissed.
But, my lord,
an exhausted army is a weakened army. Go home and get some rest.
There must be something I can do. Let me serve you, Lord Datherham.
And gainsay a Cillian. I think, my brother, your family still lives. No one here begrudges you the time it takes to watch over your loved ones. So many have died, we must find joy where we can. Rejoice in your good fortune. It is a luxury few among us know. 5 days later at the Thompson farm just southwest of the Agaman Mills.
Bring the rest of the food inside and be careful with the preserves. Then it's off to bed with you.
Oh, Mum!
And don't all mum me. When is Daddy coming home? Soon, sweetheart. I keep telling you soon, my love. But I do not know how much longer they or I can leave.
Stay back.
You're hurt.
It's not my blood. This is Scourge filth. I came across a pocket of undead on the way here. I picked up dire news along the journey. King Tyrannus is dead. Murdered. Capital city has fallen. It was Arthas. He's leading a Scourge army through Lordaeron.
Alright, so now we're caught up all the way through the cutscene we watched.
You said Northrend was a harsh land. It perhaps drove him mad.
No. Remember the massacre he and his men carried out in Stratholme? If this is madness, he bore the seeds of it long before he took the fleet north. He and the other traitors cannot go unpunished, free to commit even darker crimes. Too many people have died, and worse yet, many have been forced into the Scourge's ranks.
He is the same man you once called brother. There must be someone in your order who can still get through to him.
Have you heard nothing, I've said? Capital City is in ruins. He killed his own father.
His motives no longer matter.
His crimes are beyond forgiveness. He is the enemy. Has been the enemy for some time now. The more fools that we did not see that sooner.
4 days later, infuriated by the spoiled prince's carelessness, the mysterious old woman cursed him and his family. Oh, I think he's telling the story.
The king has fallen into an enchanted sleep, she told the prince. Retrieve the sword from the lake or he will die in 3 days' time. You have until sunset of the 3rd day. The spoiled prince waded into the lake, but something nipped at his toes and he jumped out. He soon discovered that the lake was now full of man-eating fish. The mysterious old woman had made it clear that the prince had to retrieve the sword alone and unaided. For the next 2 days he tried everything he could think of to get the sword out of the lake. He tried fishing it out, but the hook was too small and the sword was too heavy. He wrapped pieces of meat and cloth and leather and threw them into the lake, but the hungry fish gnawed through the material in seconds. There were so many fish, and no matter how much he fed them, they were always hungry for more. The lake was deep, and heavy armor was out of the question, as he would sink and drown. Finally, the desperate prince knew he had to take action, or his father would die. So he wrapped himself up in leather as best he could, and he dove into the lake. The fish attacked him immediately, yet he kept swimming as quickly as he could. Wounded and growing weaker, he grabbed the sword. Up he swam, sword in hand, fighting for every inch as the fish bit and tore at him. At last, in agony, he reached the surface and threw the sword to safety on the shore, just before the fish pulled him under for the last time. The king was saved, the curse unmade. The prince's blood his sin had paid.
What does it mean?
You asked why Prince Arthas did those bad things. He did them because those were the easy choices. It would have been much harder to stay and fight for Lordaeron. Good people have died doing just that, but no one said following the light would be easy. It's hard to be selfless and honorable. It's hard to fight the good fight. If it weren't hard, it wouldn't be heroic. So I think his rhyming right there is the foreshadowing of how he becomes the crazed Headless Horseman that night.
I don't care how powerful a sorceress this Jaina Proudmoore is, or how many nations her father rules.
Surely one is enough. Kultiras has a navy that would make any country proud.
Such things do not necessarily make her a leader, and I've never even heard of this land called Kalimdor. It sounds like one of the wild stories you tell the children.
Lordaeron is growing dangerous. You and the children would be safer under Lady Proudmoore's protection.
Then come with us.
You know I cannot. No matter how many ships Kultiras sends, there won't be enough space for everyone. The Silver Hand must protect those left behind. With the mighty sword Ashbringer, High Lord Morgraine has been paring down the Scourge's numbers. The tide of battle is turning. With Lord Uther and High Lord Morgraine to lead us, we will surely drive the undead from our land.
So this is before Uther has been killed.
In the meantime, I need to know you are safe.
And we need to know that you are safe.
No!
I know you too well. You worry about everyone except yourself. If we left for Kalimdor, we would never see you again, would we? If you stay, my love, we all stay.
The next morning,
so many. All dead, are you sure?
Absolutely sure. Forgive me, but I cannot tarry. You have your orders. Look, he's got a pumpkin patch.
Thomas, please stop. Stop for a moment and tell me what's wrong.
He's sharpening his sword.
I need to.
Sweetheart, you've been sharpening that sword for hours now.
Come back to me.
Come back to me. You're scaring the children and scaring me too.
Lord Uther, the Lightbringer himself, the pillar of our order, is dead. Many other paladins as well. Some of our best fighters. Arthas again. 1,000 curses on his name. No punishment could ever be enough for this betrayal.
So now we're caught up to what we just read. What we just played in the game.
Thomas, your hand, let go.
You must take the children and leave. I can't lose you. I can't.
Very well, my love. We'll do as you ask. We'll go.
Thomas, thank you for coming. Did you see your family off safely?
I put them on the ship myself. A storm is approaching, but the fleet will be safely at sea before it arrives.
Such departings can be difficult.
My wife did not want to go.
Truly, your Susanna has the heart of a warrior.
I could wish she had the heart of a mother instead.
But they are one and the same. Have you not felt it when you fight the Scourge? Have you not thought of your fallen brethren and been filled with holy wrath? Wouldn't any man react with righteous fury to an evil that threatened his loved ones? We fight hardest to protect what we love the most.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just want my family to be safe.
Of course you do. Still, we're never perfectly safe until we're dead, are we? And in these dread times, not even then. On that note, brother, let us speak of the future. I wonder if he's already been corrupted now, to what we recently read. Many of the Order's mightiest paladins had fallen in battle, and yet the ragged knights of the Silver Hand continued their struggle. The forces of the Lich King showed no signs of relenting in their campaign to ravage Lordaeron, a supplicant's sleeping chamber in the Scarlet Monastery. So now the Scarlet Crusade is in full action.
I am merely an instrument of your will, O Light.
For 4 arduous years, the paladins kept fighting. So now we are past. We are into that interstitial period where Ashbringer mostly took place, which is after Warcraft 3, leading up right up to Warcraft, World of Warcraft.
Vengeance is yours. All I ask is that you let my flesh be your vessel.
United mostly due to the efforts of one man, a great man, High Lord Alexandros Morgraine.
I will purge myself until I am worthy, until I am clean.
He's like growing hair. And then at last, that man died. So they're showing that Morgraine is died, killed by his son.
Fill me with your holy wrath.
The silver hand was shattered. In its wake, a new order was born, the Scarlet Crusade. An order whose members vowed to cleanse the world of the undead no matter the cost. That's a cool picture. And the cost seemed to grow higher with every battle. So they're killing abominations, but it looks like they're also now so mindlessly killing that maybe innocents are dying. So high, in fact, that eventually the Scarlet Crusade stopped counting.
Scarlet Crusade incoming! Plague check! Everyone prepare for another plague check!
Now, there's no need for any trouble. You Crusaders are all welcome here. Indeed, we're most grateful for your valiant efforts against the plague. You'll find no sickness in my town. We'll submit to any test you like. Just as I suspected. Although it grieves me to say this, I fear we have arrived too late.
Too late. I see no sign of plague.
Or maybe that was him whipping himself.
The plague was first spread through tainted wheat, but the Lich King has since resorted to other methods.
New traitors join his forces with every passing year, drawn by the promise of immortality.
Immortality? Bah, more like slavery without end. Yet many have lost their faith in the light. Many have chosen to save their lives by sacrificing their souls. The enemy has grown in subtlety. So too must we. Look at them closely, brother, and tell me what you see.
I see clothing of many different types.
Indeed, refugees from the scourge, drawn here by the promise of shelter. Word must have spread far and wide.
I can understand why. The town seems to have been spared so far. These people look clean and well fed.
An unusual sight in these times, particularly given the town's flimsy defenses.
Few guards, and they all look young, inexperienced.
Exactly.
I doubt they could repel even one attack by the undead. How could they have guided others to safety here? These are no battle-hardened veterans of frightened children cowering in the dark. By what means could they secure the supplies necessary to sustain a town of this size?
You're saying we have another scourge conspirator on our hands.
A creature of great patience and cold-blooded cunning. Someone who kept the town supplied and protected for weeks, even months. While he spread the word that this town was a haven from the plague, he was waiting for the town to reach critical mass, all the while plotting to unleash the plague. Yes, Thomas, and given the size of this town, there can be no doubt that the process is already in motion.
I am a fool.
You are human. You suffer the consequences of Rivendir's betrayal firsthand, and you found it difficult to face that pain a second time. It's only natural.
Someday I hope to share your unflinching spiritual insight.
You will, brother. But for now we must act. We have seen what these people will suffer.
They are the walking dead, and they do not even know. The best we can hope to do is give them a clean death.
Good man.
No! Mommy! Damn you all! You don't want to do this. I don't have the plague. I'm not sick. Please!
2 months later, an hour's ride north of Dawson's Tears. Oh, so that's Dawson's Tears. Uh-oh. That looks like his family.
Shunk! By the light! It can't be. Gina? Can't be. They're not here. They're safe. Not here. Safe in Camdo unless... What if the storm arrived too soon? Their ship was to be one of the last to leave the harbour. What if the storm damaged it before they could depart? With Lordron in tatters, where would be no shipwrights to repair the damage? There wouldn't have been any room to spare on the other ships. Too many people taking their chances with Kalimdor. Forced to stay on Lordaeron, taking refuge wherever they could. No way to let me know. Stop! What were you thinking? Don't touch them. Don't touch them, they're infected. No, they aren't. This is my family. What have I done? Grab him. Lord, have mercy. Mercy.
Yet Thomas found no comfort in the familiar words. How could he? He had long since come to believe.
They were supposed to be safe. I can't hold him. A little help here.
that the light had no mercy to give. Outside Thomas's sleeping chamber in the Scarlet Monastery, no change. Our brother is still lost in his grief. Must have been a terrible shock finding out that his wife and children were infected and being forced to end their suffering himself. Well, that is a tragedy many of us can empathize with all too well.
Grand Crusader, I fear there may be more at work here than simple grief.
Explain.
The things we've heard coming from his room, they're not normal. Sometimes he doesn't even sound human. Laughing and howling and sobbing all tangled up together. And those creepy rhymes, things that stay in your head for days and give you bad dreams.
There's no cause for alarm. We all deal with grief in different ways.
If you say so, then may his suffering come to an end soon.
Oh, they've got some gallows, more fighting. On the other hand, it does seem that solitude isn't proving helpful. Perhaps a change of pace is in order. Today is Hallow's End, and we must keep Lord Ron's traditions alive, even in the midst of this struggle. What else, after all, are we fighting for? In this case, of course, I refer to the Wicker Man. Ah, I surprise you. I take it you two never spent Hallows Eve, and near Capital City. Then you missed quite a sight. A giant straw effigy that people from all over Lordaeron came to see. It was said that if you threw a branch onto the Wicker Man's fire, you could burn away whatever you didn't want to take with you into winter. Fears, sorrows, old loves, new hates, you could put them all behind you. Yes, the more I think on it, the more certain I am. Hallow's End will be the end of Thomas's suffering. It's the perfect time to remember loved ones we have lost, and to let their memories go. So Grand Crusader Dathrahan persuaded Thomas to join the fight. After all, Lordaeron needed heroes. As Dathrahan had hoped, Thomas embraced the heat of battle. Took his helmet off, smashed in some zombie heads. Zombies are all around him, biting him. When his frenzied attacks drew the Scourge's attention, the Scarlet Crusaders rallied to defend their comrade, only to learn that he was no longer their comrade.
Duped by far too long by lies, I see you now through clearer eyes. Infected all, you too shall fall. The light went out through your demise. I'll make of this land a funeral pyre, and end your curse with cleansing fire.
And so the Scarlet Crusade was forced to cut down one of its own. Later that night, outside Thomas's sleeping chamber in the Scarlet Monastery, I would prepare Thomas's body for burning. Although his mind was shattered by grief, he fought bravely for our cause. Remember him in your prayers. But prayers from the Scarlet Crusade were an obscene jest, the Order's murderous deeds, a violation of the light, a travesty that never failed to amuse the malevolent being who had steered the Order since its inception. Corrupt to its core, the Scarlet Crusade could give rise to nothing but evil. Little wonder then that the only burning Thomas would know that night would be the burning of raw fell energies as they raced along his body, changing it to suit the Dreadlord Balnazar's twisted purposes.
Exactly as I'd hoped, humans. So weak and malleable. How you ever managed to oppose the Legion, I cannot fathom. You've merely delayed the inevitable. Arise, my dear brother. Feel the strength return to your limbs. Strength I give you freely to use as you will. Whatever your choices, I know they will serve my ends. You will be one of my finest creations, a tribute to the Master until the day he returns to crush Azeroth. Scream, you dogs! Curse my name! I'll set your matchstick homes ablaze! Aflame! Perhaps the worms still find you sweet. You're nothing to me but rotting meat. I fought for you. I fought in vain. Now scatter, scurry, shriek in pain. No mercy on this night abides. On Hallow's End, when the Horseman rides.
So that we have the origin story of the Headless Horseman. So that's pretty cool. Oh, there's a neat little picture of him riding his flaming steed as well. Pretty cool story. So that's neat. I mean, like, is it overall important to the greater lore of World of Warcraft? Not super, but it does corroborate the things we just read in Ashbringer and in some of the legends that we read. It ties up with everything. It does say there 4 years after, so it is a little bit forward, kind of like Ashbringer was, but the bulk of that story took place earlier, and it just gives us backstory. So now, whenever we see that guy running around for Headless, we kind of know where he comes from, what his downfall is, and how he's just one more example of the strings being pulled, the machinations of the whatever those things are called, the elf, whatever the dreadlords are. I can't remember their Nathrezim. All right, thanks for listening. This episode is in the pipe, 5x5, and I look forward to seeing everybody next time on Lore of Warcraft.